Okay, there it goes. I hope everyone can hear that. All right, everyone. Up on the Virginia Director of Gun Owners of America. I am an investigative journalist working with MLN.com. I instructed my legal team to drop some more FOIA requests. Exciting. And I have some other FOIA that I'm going to talk to Aaargo Jay about because I think one is very, very interesting. Yes, here we go. We are going to yeah, tweet. Yeah, I gotta fix that. I'll fix it. We are. I changed my URL, so I gotta fix that. But let me know 82Q KFTW. All right, we have a famous guy here on the show today. But before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsor, Tusk. Tusk is the only gun-friendly cryptocurrency in the world with 3-second processing times. You know what? I'll just let the commercial tell you guys, or the advert.
Proudly sponsored by TUSC, the only cryptocurrency designed with the firearms market in mind, with 3-second processing times. It's the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet. With lower transaction fees than traditional credit cards. It's perfect for your e-commerce needs. For gun guys, by gun guys. Visit TUSC.network for more information and join the digital revolution.
And our second sponsor of the day is not Gorillas and Guns, who I see out there. My co-pilot on the GOA podcast, or and it's not Chris Shoemake or Flying Rich, who probably is crashing planes somewhere, or Joe Drag, the member of the Crumpy Militia on YouTube. It is Black Swan Tactical. Black Swan Tactical is my company. 100% of the proceeds goes to charity and 2A projects.
Black Swan Tactical, your number one source for 2A streetwear. With shirts, mugs, hats, patches, flags, and more. There's always something to help you rep the 2A community. All proceeds go back into our projects. Viewers and listeners can take an additional 10% off with code CRUMPY. Unapologetically pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-freedom gear for the front lines of the culture war.
And of course, I have a Patreon at patreon.com/John Crump. If you want to help out my projects, you can do that. And as you can see right now, we have the world famous a guy who has given up guns. No more guns. We're gonna figure out what the hell that means. Aaargo Jay. I see a lot of locked and loaded Latinos. Have you been on locked and loaded Latinos?
I have. I love them.
Great show.
My little brother and sister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are going to be featured in the same book that you're going to be featured in.
Awesome. Oh, I gotta do those questions, man.
Yeah, you got a month, so
yeah. Still gotta get on my homework. The teacher can't be late. So
exactly. You got a month. You actually probably have a little bit over a month, depending on when people start getting them back to me. I got to do the editing, and
Right.
You get it edited, send it over to my editors. They edit it, they send it back, then everything has to be put. It's a whole process. That's why it's not probably coming out until the summer.
Absolutely.
To be formatted and
all the fun stuff, all the fun.
Well,
stuff.
I don't do any of the format stuff. I send it out. They do all that stuff, but it just takes time.
Right.
Okay, awesome. So in the day, people started hitting me up. They're like, "Dude, did you see Aaargo Jay has turned his back on the gun community and stuff like that?" The 2A community, he's no longer a 2A. So I was like, "What the hell?" So I went to your Instagram, called I wasn't on the computer for a few days. I took a little mental health break.
Yep.
And the first thing I see is you holding a sign saying "No more guns." And I was like, "What the hell?" So I started looking through, and then I found, oh, we got a super chat. Hold on, I gotta play the Wolverine soundtrack by Rich. Uh, he has ammo and candy. Super Rich, Flying Rich. I don't know. I'm not sure what I call him. Flying Rich tried to kidnap me in New York a couple weeks.
I was gonna say, is he trying to lure somebody somewhere with
He
ammo
tried
and
to.
candy?
I did
Wait,
like a barrel roll out of his car and ran.
I had Twizzlers somewhere over there, and then I got these. So I got, this is the best candy in the world. I got a bunch of these bags.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Little birdie told me that Phoenix Ammo is gonna be dropping ammo tomorrow at 9 a.m.
they are 300,000 rounds tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
that's what I've heard.
and
That's
they
what I
will be
heard.
sold out in less than 3 minutes.
I will
So,
be on there waiting.
yep, absolutely. Set your card up early if you're going, guys. Well, maybe I shouldn't tell the secret. No, but set your card up early. That way, when it becomes available, all you have to do is just go and check it out. So, little pro tip.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, let's get into this, man. What the hell do you mean by no more guns?
I'm sick of guns, man. I'm just sick of all the nonsense that go. No, I can't even go down that road anymore. But a while ago, this is like my fourth show since I put that up. This is I never expected any of this, by the way. But anyway, I'm not literally talking about giving up my guns and not going and not having guns. What I'm speaking about is the way we utilize the word guns. The word guns has such a negative meaning to it, and it has such a negative connotation to it that we need to be careful when we use it. I think we're numb to it, so it doesn't affect us in the community as much. Even though we may be aware of how it affects other people, we still use it because it's just so natural for us and so common for us. But the word guns literally has been made to be a bad thing. The word gun is a bad thing. You know, you hear gun control, you hear gun deaths and gun violence, and you hear phrases like, when police shout out gun, that's a bad thing. If you hear a cop shout out gun and you're around, look out. Especially if you're black or brown. Didn't even mean to make that rhyme. But anyway,
You should become a rapper.
I am a rapper. Yeah. No,
yeah. You and Maj should like get together and do a rap.
Well, we already put out our super dope album cover if people haven't, seen that. So that's pretty dope, you know what I mean? But seriously though, it's just that oh wait, here's the album cover. Me and Maj. so we're ready. We're ready. We got the album cover ready and waiting. But I think that a lot of us are oblivious to the fact that the word gun has a major impact on people and how it affects people's thinking and how it affects their processes when they're going through their evolution into becoming firearms owners. The word gun is just such a negative word, and people who are anti-firearm know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Every negative headline that uses a firearm or that has a firearm or has something tragic that happens with the firearm, the word gun is used, and it's always used in a negative way. And that matters. It matters. It's a strategic tactic. And we have to be just as strategic, I believe, because it's the small things that win the big battles. It's the little things that win the fight. And when we're talking to people on two sides of it, when we're talking to people who are new to firearms, we have to be cognizant that we don't frighten them away with the word gun, because there's that association that's going to happen no matter what. It's that subconscious process that happens in our brain or in their brains, and it's going to evoke some negative feelings and negative emotion, and that can alarm people and it can be daunting to people. So we need to make sure that we are cognizant of that. And if we are speaking to somebody who is typically not pro 2A or anti firearm, every time we use the word gun, in their mind, I believe it cements what they're saying to themselves. You know what I mean? I believe that it makes their own argument more concrete, and we'll never, ever, ever get to a place where people will be able to listen to us. But if we start to substitute the word gun with firearm, and it may not make sense right away, but it does, I believe. If we start to substitute the word firearm for the word gun, we can begin to shift the paradigm and shift the dynamics of the word that's being used to attack us and attack the things that we try to attach our freedom and freedom for all American citizens to. And that is a tool. It's a tool. And it's not a demonic, entity in and of itself. It's a tool. People do evil things. The tool does not. So, we have to be able to discern between, right and being ultimately right. We can be right and still try to use the word gun, but if we want to be right, we have to be ultimately right. And we have to understand and do what it takes to be ultimately right. And sometimes that means being more understanding of the way other people receive what we're putting out. So.
And if anybody wants to join Gun Owners of America, you can do it at gunowners.org/black-swan-media. Yeah, I got what you're saying, but what does Argo mean?
What does Argo mean?
Yeah.
The acronym?
Yeah.
It means even though I hate saying it now because I don't use two of the words that are in my name. You know what I mean?
I know
Right.
That's why I asked.
Right.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
No, I'll do it.
I'm just messing with you.
Argo means, African American Association for Responsible Gun Ownership. I think the word that precedes gun is what gives it its power or takes away the power in my name. So, at least in my head that works. But I don't use the term African American, and I'm trying not to use the word gun anymore. So that's interesting. So
yeah. And Flying Rich wants to know if we remember the movie Argo.
with Ben
Argo
Affleck.
Argo F yourself.
Yep. That movie was trash, by the way.
Yeah. Question. I've never asked you this. Why don't you use the phrase African American anymore?
Because I'm not African. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I mean, yes, ancestrally, we have ties to Africa, but if we speak about it on a scientific level, I guess everybody does. So I guess everybody would be an African American. However, I was at this place and we were filling out an application, and the guy next to me was a white guy, sandy blonde hair, bluish green eyes. And he was filling out his form, his application, or his paperwork rather. And I just happened to look over at the time where it asked him to check out race. And when I looked down, he checked African American, and it kind of made me do one of these. Like I totally forgot what I was doing, and I was looking at him, and I looked up at him, and I was, what the heck is this guy doing? Come to find out, he was a U.S. citizen, naturalized citizen from Morocco. So it applied, because he was an African American. And to him, in his mind, it made sense. In my mind, it made sense, but it was backwards, and it just solidified the fact that we have been Bubbles is just on one right now. God, Tony. And it just made sense though. He totally threw me all the way off, but it's I have no ties to Africa other than my ancestors. And I'm an American first and foremost, always have been ever since we were brought to this country from the motherland. Not taking away from our ancestors, but it just doesn't have the same meaning to me. Um, and that's fine. But we're looking at a group of people in America that have been without an identity for such a long time, and we've been called so many different things and have never really had one stick. So when you hear me refer to it, I refer to um, Americans that are melanated as Black Americans because it's just simple. It's always been black and white. You know what I mean? Black and white and brown, and it's just easy. But for some reason, people get uncomfortable with the word black, but that's fine. I mean, we know that it's not black like my shirt, but it's a descriptive term, and that's fine. It's there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I had a friend, Timmy Tope from Nigeria.
Hmm.
And I used to work with him, and he wanted to become an American so bad, but he was a green card. He won. They have like a big lottery
Hmm.
where everyone gets on TV and watches and see if their number comes up to be able to immigrate over.
Hmm.
And someone asked him, this American guy who's never been to Africa, asked him, "Why'd you leave Africa?" He goes, "I would never leave Africa to come to the United States." And Timmy looked at him and said, "Have you ever been to Africa?" The guy's like, "No." He's like, "Maybe you should go there before you make that statement."
Yeah, it.
Well, I mean, I think, and I don't think it's so much applies to the Black community. I think it applies to every community where people seem to romanticize the motherland, whether that's you know, Germany, England, Russia, wherever.
Hmm. Hmm.
They
And it is what it is. But people aren't labeled like what is your background? Where does your lineage take you?
Africa.
I mean, other than that, like, oh, seriously?
I'm fine. Yeah, I got a
Oh,
little bit of Black in me.
okay, but
Uh,
the
and
non-melanated side.
well, then 25% Native American.
Okay,
My grandmother was Cherokee. My mom's half Cherokee.
okay,
Which a lot of people don't know. And then just like all over the place, like Swedish and English, Native American, and I'm like, I think like 1% Black according to my DNA testing.
okay. So like everybody, we're pretty much
Yeah,
mixed up because nobody's
yeah.
pure anymore. But here's this. So so let's take the Swedish side. Let's say you were predominantly Swedish. Okay, you wouldn't refer to yourself as a Swedish American. You would refer to yourself as an American. And
Well, of
and
course,
why
I
is
think.
it that we as being Black Americans, why do we have to have something that describes us and is a descriptive for us and that gives us the validity to be an American citizen? Like that's ridiculous in my eyes. Like I'm a Black
Honestly,
American. Yeah,
I don't think you should.
exactly.
I've been saying that forever,
Yeah,
and it seems like
exactly. Call me an
people,
American, and if you have to describe me, say he's a Black dude who's an American. Like, I'm
yeah,
fine with that.
yeah,
So,
people think it's almost funny where you're like, hey, I just want to refer to them as American, or refer to him as American or her as an American. It's almost funny how people kind of like, oh, you must be a racist because you just want to call them American. You don't want to segregate them out. And my thing is, wait a minute. So I'm the bigot because I don't want to segregate people out, and
right,
you want
because
to
I'm being inclusive.
segregate,
Uh,
and you want to segregate people, and you're inclusive. It's
right.
like that doesn't make any sense to me, man.
It's asinine, man. And it's like I saw a post yesterday that kind of hit home with me, even though I understand it was a little misguided, but it made sense. There was a post talking about, the removal of the traditional old school Black faces on branding for food products, like the Aunt Jemimas, the Uncle Bens, and all that stuff, the Land O'Lakes butter, how they have removed all the Black faces and the Native American faces,
Yeah.
uh, from the products. There is no representation anymore, no visual representation of our influence to this country anymore.
Well,
None.
Aunt Jemima actually owned the company.
I mean, and
and
exactly so.
and
And then
that's why
somebody
she
was
was
like,
on there.
well, that's fine, but why does she have to be Aunt? Why do you have to call her Aunt? Because she was somebody's aunt when she did it, and that was how she referred to herself. Like my aunt in Ohio, love her to death, Aunt Janice. My Aunt Jan makes the best lemon meringue pies I've ever eaten in my life. If I have Aunt Janice or help Aunt Janice to market and sell and distribute her pies, guess what they're going to be called?
On
Aunt
Janice, yep,
Jan's lemon meringue pie.
yep.
It's not a racial term. It's what it is. It's my aunt's stuff. So we have to be careful as Black people in America when we want to scream racism. We want to scream racism to the highest degree all the time, uh, just because we don't agree with something, and that's not true. Now, I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. That's not what I'm saying either, and I'm
Well,
not oblivious to the things that are racist or racially motivated here in our country. But we have to, we have to thicken the skin of our necks a little bit.
well. It seems like a lot of times it's not the actual Black Americans that are screaming racism.
True,
It's it's like the
Karen them.
the Karens. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's both, and it's both. But at the end of the day, like our country is full of history, and it's a rich history that's full of great and wonderful things, and it's also full of horrific and terrible things.
What
And that
everything is
exactly,
always mixed.
and that's what makes us beautiful. So we have to embrace both of those things. We have to embrace it in total, embrace it rather in total, and say, you know what, we came from a screwed up place, but look at us now, or we're working towards this, or we're working towards that. Um, because
Well,
we live in a country that's been free for hundreds of years, but as Black Americans, we've literally only had about 60 years of pseudo freedom, and I use that word pseudo,
well,
respectively.
here's the thing. When Jefferson wrote, when Jefferson wrote, "All men are created equal," uh, a lot of people back then were like, "No, you got to put all white men are created equal," and he refused.
Hmm.
And Jefferson owned slaves, and one of the things he would say is, "One day we're going to get to the point where that's gonna be true." Because he was a conflicted guy.
He was,
He
he was.
he was a very conflicted guy. He had some ideas, and I think he had ideas where he wanted it to go, but I don't think that he was there. That's why he's kind of an interesting cat. Um, There's some of his ideas.
He's definitely a product of the time, owning slaves and sleeping with many different Black women, because that was the thing, um, to rape and sleep with Black women, and he did that too. So he was definitely a flawed individual. So I don't know what his intentions were when he wrote that or what he meant, but I know what it means, how it applies today. You know what I mean, and how
Mhm.
we have to interpret it in today's day and time. It's the same way that we have to associate um, the relevance of the Second Amendment when it was written to modern society. So we have to make sure that we say we understand that they weren't talking about uh, the technological advances in firearms when they wrote it. But that doesn't mean they weren't talking about the technological advances in firearms when they wrote it. So it still applies. So, oh no, they were talking about muskets. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? We don't, you find me an active musket, you know what I mean? And I'll shoot it. You
Well,
find me, you find me an active flintlock, and I mean readily available in mass production, and I'll rock it. I know there's some out there, but that's not what I'm saying. You
uh,
get the point. But
a couple of different things when people say the whole musket argument. One thing I say is like, well, yeah, well, guess what the military had back then? Muskets. So therefore, you say, the Second Amendment wasn't meant for weapons of war, but the musket was a weapon of war.
absolutely, absolutely. And the biggest overlooked, most overlooked weapon of war, I think, that never ever gets, the negative light that it deserves, is not a firearm or a weapon at all. I mean, it's a weapon, but it's this. It's this. This is the biggest weapon of war that's ever been. There have been more people that died at the hands of a stroke of a pen than have ever died by bullets. And it's the things that we do as a society that shape, mold, and form our futures. And we need to understand things as they really are. So that's what it is.
Super member Joe Drag. That's what that little symbol next to him means.
Yeah. Okay.
He has a musket for you, and it's safe.
I mean, you can send it to me. I'll send you my FFL, and you can.
You don't need a
send it right away.
Musket.
I mean, I know, but it's a relic, So
send it, FFL.
Yeah, just send it, but still though, I was reading somebody's racist comment about Chinese food in the comments. So
what you wrote about Chinese food?
No, I'm joking. Gorillas and guns, and I had to get Chinese food. I said, that's racist. You can't say Chinese
no,
food.
That's not racist. That's cultural appropriations.
Right. Which is all like the level of selected sensitivity and outrage in our country just blows my mind. It just does. So. But back to the no guns thing, man. Like, because I think we went on a tangent. My ADD kicked in. So it's like, I think we just have to be aware, and we have to make certain that I said this the other day or yesterday at the Rockstar podcast, which is a great podcast, by the way.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's local. It's a young lady from here in Wisconsin. She's just getting started on her freedom train. And her podcast is called the Rockstar. I don't know the full name. I think it's Rockstar something podcast. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. So
yep. She's fairly new. Great young lady though. I actually met her at the Black Guns Matter class here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Maj. But we have to be more nurturing as activists, as advocates, as firearms owners, and be able to embrace people that we want to share our in what we do. If we want people to share our love and our passion, excuse me, for firearms, we have to nurture that. We have to embrace them and be nurturing. We can't expect them to all of a sudden just say, okay, bam, it's this way and it works, and scrap everything else that they feel and have thought before. We can't do that. We just can't. We have to build it. Everything goes through a process of building. Some will get there sooner than others. Some will take some time, but we have to nurture those feelings and those emotions and those and that process and help people grow into being responsible firearms owners and help to negate the impact of the negativity that the antis are pushing on us. So
yeah, I just want to say, hey, Tony, Simon out there, the project that we were talking about, I have another meeting about it tomorrow with the actual developers. Let me tell you a little story. Tony had a thing. He was like, this is what I want to do, and he had a great idea. But I was working on an idea like that. So I was like, yeah, I just want you to know that it's not done yet, but we've dumped $42,000 into it. He's like, all right, just got it.
Absolutely. So
he decided he didn't want to do the project anymore. He was just going to leave it up to me to do.
Did it involve bubble bath though? That's what I want to know. If it involved bubble bath, I can understand why he wanted to shy away from it.
You know what, Tony Simon, every time he comes on the show, I don't use the bubble bath picture anymore because every time I put that bubble bath picture up, my video
somebody gets pregnant. Oh
no, my video gets demonetized, and when I appeal it, I lose it.
Why? He's like it's shoulders and bubble bath.
I don't know. Maybe
he's just too sexy.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, man, we're gonna have all the women going to this video. This would be an absolute bidding war or ads on this video. So we can't have that. It would be unfair to the other videos.
Maybe they're mistaking it for his OnlyFans. So maybe that's what it is.
His OnlyFans is pretty good, actually. Oh, I mean, Tony has an OnlyFans?
Right. So no, yeah. So definitely, man.
Nah, man. Interesting thing about OnlyFans. No one knows who the hell owns OnlyFans.
I wonder why. Maybe it's OnlyFans that own OnlyFans.
I don't. Well, yeah, it's set up. I was watching something about it, and it's set up in so many different shell companies.
Right. I thought that they traced the last thing back to like Romania or someplace. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
even true.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But they traced it through like multiple different countries, different people,
Mhm.
lawyers. So
Somebody's getting rich off it though. That's all I know.
yeah,
So
but someone's getting rich off of it and don't want anybody to know who they are.
that's smart. That's very smart. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't too because the things that happen on there. But hey, that's not them doing it. They're just providing a space for people to do it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's probably like the Russian mafia, something like that.
probably, probably,
It,
probably.
it goes back to Eastern Europe somewhere.
Yeah. So I mean, my OnlyFans is doing mad numbers right now. So when I go on my OnlyFans, I'm only, you can only see me from the nipple to the waist though. So 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 that's my OnlyFans.
Interesting. I have
Chocolate Godzilla.
I have set up a oh, Chris Chocolate Godzilla and Chris Shoemake knows who owns OnlyFans, Hunter Biden, which is probably a good guess.
Oh, that could be very true. That could be what sustains his habit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Not sorry. So yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of why haven't that got a lot more press?
The fact that he's got an issue with drugs
Yeah, that he's like smoked cracks at prostitutes. And then
because it is easy for people in positions that his dad is in to squash and put the kibosh on those kind of internal leaks or those kind of negative leaks rather.
but like
We know it, but it's an accepted no. Like did you see Geraldo get torn up by what's his name on
no.
talking about Andrew Cuomo?
No.
Oh god, I'm just drawing a blank right now. Senior moment. Come on NRA TV, he's on Fox. Anyway,
I
anyway, Geraldo was sitting there
I
oh yeah,
Dan
yep,
Bongino
yep.
or
Thank you.
yeah, Dan Bongino.
So
Color guy.
Yep. So, Geraldo was sitting there just making excuses for Andrew Cuomo's actions. And I said this last night to my dad. I said, and this is where my whole selective outrage, uh, theory came into play. Um, Last night for the first time, it was about Andrew Cuomo. It's amazing how we're not being flooded and bombarded with them talking about Andrew Cuomo because the mainstream media that's more left leaning um, is the predominant media in our country. Okay. And when Trump said grab him by the P, it was a whole big thing. The whole Stormy Daniels and the other chick thing, it was a whole big thing. Uh, the whole, all the allegations of his sexual misconduct, it was a whole big thing. But this is getting swept under the rug, and he's a handsome single guy, and it's okay. Things might have been misunderstood. No, keep your lips, your hands, and your dick to yourself. Like if they're not saying come give it to me, don't give it to them. Like, stop invading people's space and privacy. And then it's not okay. Stop making excuses for people because you're politically aligned with them, and that's what's happening
Well,
with Hunter Biden.
yeah, you see that with the Cuomo thing. There is a Republican congressman that's under uh, scrutiny because when he was a teenager, he tried to kiss a girl and she rejected him. Himself on her. She just he just went in for the kiss with him when they were
And
teenagers.
and so now it's a big thing.
That's a big thing now with him.
So I was in 7th grade, maybe 8th grade, music class. There was a girl named Tiffany. She was pretty shapely for a 7th or 8th grader. Very pretty, very beautiful. All the guys wanted her. I was talking to somebody in music class, and Tiffany was in my music class. Tiffany had her back turned to me. We were trying to include Tiffany in the conversation. I wasn't looking, and I reached over and I went to tap her shoulder. At the same time that I reached to tap her shoulder, she turned around and I ended up tapping her on her boob, and it became a whole big thing. Like it was an accident. Like I didn't intentionally do it. I almost got in trouble, but she was woman enough, I mean, a young woman enough at the time to say, no, he didn't intentionally do it. But what happened was some other dickhead dude saw it and was like, oh, he touched her titty. Oh, he did, and the teacher heard her and heard it. And then we went to the principal's office and my parents were called and it was this whole big thing. And Tiffany was like, it was an accident. He was trying to tap me on my shoulder. I turned around and he bumped me, and I literally like brushed it. Like I didn't give her the honk, and it was like people make such a big thing out of nothing sometimes. And they turn nothing or they turn big things into nothing, because it doesn't fit what they want to do or who they support and all that. So we have to stop that nonsense.
Well, that they're trying to get the Republican congressman to resign for something that happened when he was a teenager. He went in for a kiss with a girl. The girl, and basically the girl admits, yeah, when I rejected him, he didn't try it again.
I mean,
And now you have Andrew Cuomo, who was doing this while he was the governor of New York. And there's certain people like Aaargo that just want to give him a pass.
yeah. And Chris, you're right. He just wanted to feel relevant. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it was, because that's who that guy was. So the fact that you even said that just further cements in my mind the fact that I've been wanting to kick him in his head since that day. But anyway, but yeah, John, it's like I can't tell you how many girls I haven't been rejected though, but I've gone in to kiss, you know what I mean? So or and I've never ever forced myself on anybody. It's always been reciprocal. But like I just can't imagine how many boys, how many girls, how many people have gone in to try to kiss somebody that they like and have been rejected. And it's okay. It's innocent. It's part of your rite of passage into adulthood, and into adolescence. Like we can't continue to dig deep and say, oh, when you were 3, you did this, that, and the other. I was 3. Like, the hell out of here. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
ATF at your door?
No, that's my wife. My wife. You guys want to see my wife? My wife.
Does your wife want to be seen? I don't want you to get beat up on camera.
No, my wife is walking away.
And you're watching her walk away. Good man. Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife is very. My wife is very cool. She supports my work. No, my wife doesn't do that.
So she might see this. So my acronym, I mean, my definition for ATF was totally going to go off the rails. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Like, but but no, I've never met your wife. I hope I get to meet her one day, man. Somebody else told me she was really nice though. I forgot who that was.
You guys should definitely meet my wife. Yeah, she is very turn. Okay, hey, Miriam, come here. Come here. Come here. She's cleaning up. My kids were down here and they were very messy.
And you're cruising for a bruising, bro. Like I'm just telling you, like you cannot put a woman on public display without her being ready mentally and physically. That's me too though. So I'm like that too. I was primping it, got my makeup on before the podcast. So yeah.
So how's the movie going?
Slow and steady. Yep. I will be filming this weekend at the USC, the Delta Defense Facility, the USCCA facility here. There are going to be a few of us up here at a training event. Myself, Kevin Dixie, Chris Hoodneck, Mike Waller from Chicago from MJ's Firearms, Urban Grandpa, and Twister, the rapper, who's now a USCCA instructor with some unbelievably high prices for concealed carry classes. But yeah, literally like $600 for a concealed carry class. But anyway, he has his reasons and whatever, they're valid to him. So if he gets it, hey, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah, that sounds very cool,
Sounds
actually.
very black. I think it was intentional that they scheduled all the black dudes up there at one time.
How
So
would it go?
we'll see. We'll see what happens and how it turns out, and some of the footage that we get. It should be quite interesting, though. Should be a good time, and it's right here in my own city, so I don't have to really fly because USCCA is like 25 minutes from my house.
Yeah, I'd definitely go. When's the movie coming out?
When it gets finished. When it gets finished. There was another rewrite, not another rewrite, but I had to add some stuff to it because every time I think it's ready to go, something happens that I feel I have to add to it, or that needs to be addressed, or that we need to put in there. So this whole thing, starting with the George Floyd situation and everything that followed, kind of led up to some points that needed to be added.
Yeah, Kevin Dixie is going to be in Virginia in like a week.
Is he? That dude's been bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, Devin Perkins is bringing him in for a class.
Devin, oh, trench work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew that kid before he started blowing up, before
Yeah.
he had a podcast or
Yeah. Oh
anything
yeah.
else.
I remember when he first started and he was just interested. We bet that dude, and I really always liked his drive. I always did, and I liked his passion. So Devin's a good dude. That's the little brother for real. So
Yeah, Devin was like, "Hey man," he was like, "I really want to do this." I was like, "Well, just do it. I'll help you." And I helped him get started out, and now he's like freaking massive,
yeah,
which
he's
is
good.
it's a good thing. It's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Helping people is something that we all must do.
Absolutely. And hey, that's, a good callback to the whole why I'm done with guns, why I'm done with the word guns, because we want to help the people who want to be helped in introducing them to this community. And if that means that we have to be not pussified, but if we have to be a little more deliberate and a little more intentional and a little more nurturing, then we must be. It is our duty to be, because we do not want to remove allies from this fight. So,
Yeah, a question for you. What would you tell someone who wanted to get into making a film?
um, the biggest thing I could tell you, if you wanted to, I mean, if you wanted to get into a film, to do is don't. Like, it's not as easy as it seems, especially if you don't have the resources or the knowledge of filmmaking to begin with. Now, I have the knowledge of how to make a film because I went to school in Atlanta, and one of my um, I was a criminal justice major, sociology minor, but I went to one of our sister schools, and I was in their film program. So I was in a lot of independent films, and we learned the whole process. And we had great black actors as teachers. Um, like Dr. Whitman Mayo was one of my teachers. For those of you that don't know who Dr. Whitman Mayo is, and yes, he's got a PhD. He was Grady on Sanford and Son. He played this ignorant old black dude, but he was one of the smartest men that I have ever had the pleasure of being around. And
Your film instructor was Grady from Samson and the Son?
yeah, yeah, PhD. So it's like yeah. So um, Oprah Winfrey came through from time to time.
Oprah Winfrey came to your film class?
through the school, not to my
Oh,
particular
okay.
class. So Whitman Mayo was actually one of mine. He was actually in one of the movies that I was in as a college student, one of the independents that I was in. Oprah came through. Who else has come through? I mean, I just can't name all of them, but it was Clark Atlanta University, so historically Black college. So we, and this is now the movie capital of America is Atlanta. Tyler Perry has bought the old Fort McCoy, not Fort McCoy. Is it Fort McPherson? Fort McPherson, I believe. And that's now his filming studio. Those are his filming grounds. He's got an entire exit named after him. Whatever Tyler Perry Studios on the expressway. And he's got the whole old Army fort as his filming studio.
Yeah, there's a lot. You got the whole entire Alexandria, Virginia, down in the Atlanta area,
Oh, for Walking Dead.
which is kind of funny. I don't know if you ever seen the real Alexandria.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
The real
now watch
Alexandria is like urban.
watch this though. So if you're a fan of Walking Dead, a lot of the scenes from season six and seven were filmed at my college. So like in the back lots and in the wooded areas behind some of the older buildings, you could see my dormitory where I stayed in Walking Dead. So they filmed it on Morris Brown's campus. I went to a college called Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. So you can actually see where I went to school in a lot of seasons actually of The Walking Dead.
Well,
So
here's this, man. How about this? Uh, The Walking Dead is supposed to be filmed in Virginia, which is
Mhm.
done in Atlanta. Then you have The World Beyond, which is supposed to be in I guess all over the country. They're going to New York, but that's filmed right down the road from Gorillas and Guns House,
And yeah, I mean,
the Virginia area. That's
look at
in Virginia. That's filmed
look
in
at the show Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
yeah.
It's supposed to be filmed in California. It's filmed in Atlanta. So Atlanta has taken over as far as the filming industry goes and the movie industry. But as to your question though, for those people who want to get into filmmaking, definitely do your research, do your due diligence, and set your resources up ahead of time. And gather your finances before you even try to do anything, because that's been my major headache. If I hit the lottery today, that film is done in a few months. You know what I mean? But that's been my hiccup though, is trying to keep it by the people and of the people. So
Yeah, I got a friend that does documentary filmmaking, does like quirky documentaries and stuff like that, and they take a long time and they're kind of expensive.
they are, and I didn't know it. And the relevance changes. Like I say this all the time in every interview when somebody asks me. I saw a post once, or a quote rather, or whatever you want to call it, excuse me, that says, in a feature film, the director is God. In a documentary, God is the director. So you can't control what happens in a documentary. It's very hard. I've had 4 prior to this, so a total of 5 rewrites, because society and life changes, life happens, and the relevance of the things that have happened in America need to be highlighted in this film, because it's all relative. So we need to you need to be patient, you need to be persistent, you need to have the ability to persevere. Patient, persistence, and perseverance. If you have the 3 P's, you're good to go.
Yeah, might want to do a documentary. I mean, I would, but I just don't put out the money or the time
Right.
or anything else like that. I mean, I got all the equipment and I have the editing skills, but
And I think it's because I still work a 9 to 5. If I didn't have a full-time job, if I still wasn't teaching, I could have had it done. But I teach, and I teach because I love it, and because there's a need for it, and because I want everything I do is for solidifying a better and positive future, a more positive future. I need to make certain that our future is set. You know, when I'm old, I want to make sure that my kids are good. I want to make sure that the people that are going to be around him are educated and can and we don't live in a chaotic society, or he doesn't live in a chaotic society. I want to make sure that the things that we're fighting for, as far as freedom goes now, as far as firearms ownership and the Second Amendment, and a lot of the other things that we're fighting for that have nothing to do with firearms. I want to make sure that these things happen. They'll probably never happen in our lifetime, never. But we want to set them up for the people that come after us that we love. So that's what I do, and that's why I still teach, and I just can't leave it, even though I want to every year. This is my last year. This is my last year. You know, and this has been great because COVID has been great for me. Other than the fact that I think I had it when I came back from SHOT Show last year. Um, COVID has allowed me to do a lot of things from home and get things underway, get things going and underway that I wouldn't have been able to do working in the building. So,
My
you know,
quarantine ended today.
oh, you were quarantining?
Well, I had COVID.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was
Uh-oh.
asymptomatic though.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me spray the
You
mic.
can't catch it through the computer.
I had to spray the mic. Hold on. Yes. That's how ridiculous some people are about it though, man.
Yeah,
So it's like, but no, you know, well, I'm glad you're okay. So were you you said you were asymptomatic?
I was asymptomatic. Yeah, I was just in a car with and stayed with a couple people, and everyone got COVID. My wife is vaccinated because she's a doctor, but so she wasn't sick. My kids got like slight fevers, and so I got tested because they had COVID and everything. So I was like, I get tested just to make sure I don't have it, but I have none of the symptoms. And they're like, "Yeah, you have COVID." I'm like, "But I don't have."
Right, right.
So whatever.
I also love how you just threw the fact that your wife's a doctor in there so nonchalant. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because my wife had it and she's vaccinated because she's a doctor, you know. So no, but no, seriously though. But no,
I'm
man.
very proud of my wife.
You should be, as you
She's
should
not
be.
down here anymore either, so I'm not just saying that. I'm very
No,
proud of
like
my wife.
you should be, as you
She
should be.
serves our country with distinction, and she's a doctor. She was deployed a couple times this year. Hopefully, she's not going to get deployed anytime soon. But yeah,
I hear you. Thanks, G Webs, man. You know me. I'm all about it, bro. I'm all about making small changes to make big differences.
I like that. I like that. Small changes make big differences because every small change, just like the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah, or the pebble in the pond. You know what I mean? The ripple effect. You know, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of that, so when you did your Black Swan promo in the beginning,
I designed all that, by the way.
yeah, oh, that was dope. Number one, but number two, great minds think alike, and you're probably going to be mad at me. One of the new shirts that I just released is very similar to something you have. Wait, where is it?
Yeah, it is.
And it's crazy because one, I think yours said gun rights are civil rights. You know what I mean? And I had no idea that you had it until just now. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
I've had that shirt for 2 years now.
see?
I'm
So
gonna
make
change
sure.
it to an equal symbol now.
Oh God. And I was gonna change mine to the word R. So I mean
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, but no, but seriously though. So yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that gun rights are a civil right.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think a lot of times it gets lost in the sauce or it gets lost in everyday translation that they are civil rights. And how can we protect the rest of our civil rights if we don't have firearms? Like if we don't have firearms, I can't keep safe the things that we have fought for to gain. I can't keep my home and family safe. I can't keep our happiness and our security. I can't maintain that if I don't have that firearm. What am I going to do? Run around and chase people with this pin and try to, you know, make spitballs or make mini darts and shoot at them? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. One of the things I always say is that the Second Amendment is the only right that we have that cannot be taken away. It has to be given away
Absolutely.
because the Second Amendment
Absolutely.
allows you to defend all the other ones. I mean, they
Absolutely.
can if they take away the Second Amendment, they take away, or if you give away the Second Amendment, they can take away whatever rights they want because you have no way of fighting back.
I.e. Venezuela.
Yeah, remember what Jefferson said? When the people fear the government, there's tyranny, but when the government fears the people, that there's liberty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I literally said this last night on the Rockstar podcast. Like, you know, I do believe in government as a systemic entity. Okay. However, it has to be limited, and the checks and balances have to be governed by us, the people, as it was meant to be, not how it's set up now, and not what it has evolved into. Um, and we have totally lost the blueprint for a functional government as it was designed by the founding fathers.
Well, I always talk to people about this, and one of the things I bring up is that I don't think we actually own any property. And when people are like, "Yeah, sure you do. You own your house," I was like, "Yeah, I kind of own my house, but I really don't, because
Mhm,
the moment I decide I don't want to pay the government their pound of flesh,
mhm.
they're gonna take it away from me. So I have to pay a tax on every year on something that I already own
Yep.
just to keep it. And if I don't pay that tax, they take it away. So is that really mine?
It is, but it's kind of like I don't know, an extortionist property. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that.
Like
You know?
the mafia, I'd rather deal with the mafia.
Yeah.
A little
So
bit more fairer
you,
than the
you made me think
government.
of something. You remember the movie Patriot with Mel Gibson?
Yes,
And do you remember when they were talking
awesome
about
movie.
people, right? The people who had the ability and right to sit in and be a part of government, how they were talking about, well, he doesn't own land, or he has to have this part of it. It was a small part, but and you made me think about that. So anyway, so go back and watch it. You'll see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to have a collective accumulation of ownership in this country. And we've given that away because we're lazy. We want people to do it for us. We want government to run itself, and that's a no-no. That's a no-no. That's the precursor to a tyrannical system. So, government cannot run itself, should not be allowed to run itself. The checks and balances should be in place for us to be able to say, hey, stop that shit right there. I don't like it. And that's
Yeah.
that. So
One of the things that a lot of people say is like, well, don't you want it to, universal basic income? Wouldn't you like to have that from the government? And my answer is no, because then they own you.
I don't I don't I don't I don't I don't want anything from the government. The government's duty or job is not to give us anything, but somewhere along the line, they figured out that, hey, if we keep them happy, they'll let us do what we want to do. If we give them the money that we stole from them and say, here, look at us, we're great, we're giving you this.
Yeah, they're not. They're just giving it. I mean, they're not like paying you. They're giving you your own self back. It's like,
Yes.
okay. How about this? You give me $100 a week, and I will give you a basic income of $25.
Like, what is that?
That's the same thing.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, so, like I said, I do. I'm a historian. My grandfather taught history and geography at the at Central State University and Wilberforce University in Ohio. Uh, so my passion for social sciences is real. Uh, but man, we have to do better, people. We cannot continue to expect the government to do what we should be doing for ourselves. And we become so lazy, and technological advances have aided in that. When I think that they should have been used to make us stronger, they have made us weaker. And on so many scales and so many levels. But we have to do better as a people, and we have to make sure that the people we put in office know that we did that, and that they are responsible for answering to us. And we have lost that. We have lost that, and that was evident when the current president was touring America, I'm sorry, let me change mine because I think I just. All right. When the current president was touring America and he told that worker, hey, I don't work for you. And the worker said, yes, you do. Like, what do you mean you don't work for me? Like, you don't get that on the most rudimentary level that you're running for president. You're an elected official.
Okay.
You work for us.
Okay, let me stop you there. I don't think he was running for president at the time.
Huh?
I don't think Biden realized he was running for president at the time.
that could be the
probably
case.
Had no idea where he was.
Yeah, maybe he had hit the sauce a little bit. I don't know, but
no, Biden. I don't think
this isn't the
knows
sauce.
where he is.
That was syrup, by the way, maple. So
I mean, Biden doesn't know where he is half the time. If you saw, he was signing documents, and he looked up and goes, "I have no idea what I'm signing." And Kamala Harris goes, "Just sign it," and he goes, "Okay," and sign it. And there's a video of that, and no one really paid attention to it.
I don't even know what to say anymore because nothing surprises me, nothing shocks me, everything upsets me, and it's like I'm going to give myself a stroke based on the nonsense of what's going on in America.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
they just told him just sign it, and he was like, "Okay," and turned around and signed it.
It's like, just sign it. I'll let you sniff my boobs later. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like that's just understood thing that he gets to sniff Kamala's boobs somewhere down the line. If he does everything right, you know, and he's just off camera, he's just like, okay, where are the boobs? Where are the boobs? Let me start sniffing, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just all time. I don't know. I think we need to. I have no idea how to fix the U.S. government.
A Navy SEAL friend of mine, I'll leave his name out, was speaking figuratively. Okay, let me make sure I put that out there clearly. He was speaking figuratively. He does not want to harm anybody or want harm to come to anybody. But he figuratively said that we just need to drop a nuke on DC and start over. And what he meant, before somebody says, you know, Aaargo Jay said somebody should bomb DC. No, that's not what I said. That we should do away with politics as we know it and start over. But that will never happen because too many people are in power, too many people have control, too many people are comfortable in that control and power. And the greed that comes with it, the greed that's you know, a given byproduct of that is what will continue to drive them.
What are you talking about? Greed. Look at AOC, who was saying that they needed a raise because she couldn't survive in DC on our $170,000 salary.
Let me tell you something. I am a teacher. I have 3 kids. I own my condo. It's not a house anymore, but I own my condo. I own my vehicle. And I make life do on a teacher salary. Am I a baller? No. You know what I mean? Do I make it happen? Absolutely. Am I comfortable in my financial level right now? Where I am financially right now? Absolutely. Do I wish it were better? Yes. Can I make it happen with the little bit of money that I get right now on my teacher salary? Absolutely. So if you're making 170, 180K plus speaking engagements, plus whatever under the table money you're getting, and you can't make it on that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So, you know.
I just thought it was funny how she's, you know, fighting for all the little people, and yet she's complaining that she only makes $170,000 a year.
I don't even understand how she is able to even be. Everybody's like, she's so smart, she's so brilliant. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see her brilliance. I don't see her smarts. I don't see her intelligence. I saw her lie though about where she was in the Capitol building. Though I saw that. I don't know if you saw it, like when, you know, the supposed insurrection happened.
Somebody called her A.O. Smollett.
Oh my God, that was pretty funny. Yeah, I saw that too. They let her have it though. But it's like, come on, why do you have this need to be in the public's eye? Like, be an actress. You would be a great actress.
She was like, I was in the capital city. That's what I meant. Like, well,
You
so was I.
right, you lived there. Like, you worked there. Like, come on now.
I'm gonna go and be like, I was near the end. I was so scared in my
Jeez.
house.
Viking man, he ran right past me and stepped on my pinky toe. Like, come on now, man. Like,
Yeah, I still think the best meme this year is, wow, I'm so glad that 2020 is over. It couldn't get any worse. This is 6 days into 2021. It said Viking shaman in control of the U.S. Capitol.
yeah, that was it.
Rich said he was on the same planet and he was
I
so
was on the
scared.
same planet, and I was frightened too. I was so scared. I mean, I was just minutes away here in Wisconsin. Minutes. I mean, because technically I was minutes away, but let's break it down. To the very finest compound of what of what it is, and let's use that. Let's run with it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been on for an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Everyone go to crumpy.com and check me out. Go to blackswantactical.com. Use code 20% or 10% off. Sorry, not 20% off. I wouldn't make no money. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video out everywhere. Follow me on Instagram at RealJohnCrump. And join Gun Owners of America at gunowners.org/black-swan-media. Out in July, which is going to feature Aaargo Jay, Locked and Loaded Latinos. Who else is in there? Actually, Hank Strange is going to be in that book. Antonia Okafor is going to be there as well. Carrie Sloan. It's going to feature a lot of activists. The title is still in flux. It's going to be either called Breaking Through Barriers or Breaking Barriers. Kind of like Breaking Barriers.
Breaking Barriers is taken, I think.
I could have it too. By who?
Yeah. No, it's Breaking Barriers United, I think. Never mind. Breaking Barriers United.
Basically, the book is a highlight of gun rights activists, or as I am going to IV 8888 shoot, so I'll see you down there, Rich. It's highlighting gun rights activists that don't fit the stereotype of firearms rights activists, as you would say.
There you go. See? There you go.
So it's basically showing that, hey, even though the book's written by a middle-aged white man, that not every firearms activist is written by a middle-aged white man, and some of the most effective activists, like Aaargo Jay here, like Locked and Loaded Latinos.
They're awesome.
Yeah, a lot of those guys. Tony Simon are not that stereotypical.
We're not that white. We're not that white.
Yeah, you're not that stereotypical firearms owner yet. It's still effective because I think that there is a false narrative being played out in the media that all firearms owners are, these white racist guys.
And I love the fact that Locked and Loaded Latinos.
Katie's in there too.
Yeah,
Maj is in my last book. Chris Ching's going to be in here as well.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So it's good company. I love the fact that Locked and Loaded Latinos don't necessarily present as Latino right away, and people are like, "Oh, okay, they're just another white couple," and then they find out, and people are like shook, like, "Oh God, no, brown people." Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I do? And that kind of speaks to something that happened, behind the scenes. But it's like, Like, come on, guys. We're all human. We're all people. We're all American citizens. Like, our like, it doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter where your ancestors were born or where they come from. It's where we live now. We live in America. Let's be Americans. Let's make this place better for the rest of the rest of the Americans to come. Like, let's make it better. Let's do better than we've done before. Let's get this right.
Yeah. Joe from Locked and Loaded Latinos would she asked me would you describe one time she asked me would you describe me as a minority, and I said I would describe you as an American.
Sounds
and
about right. Sounds
and
about right.
and that's the way I would describe you and everyone out there. An American, it's not about where you're born at. It's not about your skin color.
No.
It's about if you hold up ideas of liberty and freedom. I think that is that is what makes you a true American. And born in this country, which I don't think is as American. Like I got a friend. Uh, he's from a country called Eritrea.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Right next to Ethiopia.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he just got his American citizenship, and I got him like one, like a big flag like this. Except it's a massive.
Mhm.
Uh,
Is he Jewish, by the way?
no, he
Okay.
is Muslim.
He's Muslim. Okay.
Yeah. So I got him a big American flag. Um, and he is more than a lot of Americans that live here who don't understand what we have in this country.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And with
You
that,
know,
I'll leave the final word to you.
oh no,
Sorry, I went on my little patriotic trip of what I think
yeah,
an
leave it
American
on that because that
citizen.
was baller, man. That was just baller. Clover, what's up, man? I didn't even know you were in here.
Yeah, Clover was listing a bunch of different gun rights advocates.
Yep. But for people who don't know me, go ahead. You can always catch me by my name, which is Aaargo Jay with 3 A's, uh, on all social media. However, you will be disappointed if you expect to see me on Facebook and Twitter. Um, I just neglect them. I don't like Facebook or Twitter. I know it's pretty much all the same beast, but I don't like them. I prefer Instagram because of its instant nature. Um, I love it. I love the fact that we can speak real time to people pretty much. So, you
Yep.
know, so Instagram, Aaargo Jay, Twitter, Facebook, Aaargo Jay, all one word, all together. I mean, and you can check my website out, www.aargoj.com. The links to donating to the documentary are there. The GoFundMe link is there. I do have a rifle. Can I talk about my rifle?
Yeah, it's actually the thumbnail. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. So,
I can't. I just can't link to it.
right. Okay. So
Freaking
you can
YouTube.
go there, at www.aargoj.com and donate to the documentary. You can check out the Bravo Oscar rifle. You can actually order one there, not through me. There are no firearm sales through my site. It's going directly to the it's a hyperlink to the ADM website, which is the manufacturer that I use to make my rifle. And you can purchase a rifle. And guess what? We have them in stock. And guess where I've gotten the most sales on this rifle? What state? What do you think?
California.
California is eating the Bravo Oscar up. California, it's ridiculous. California has bought more Bravo rifles than all the other states combined. So, shout out to all the people in California. And I guess that just goes to scream that liberty is what's needed in places like that. Uh,
Yeah, I mean it's actually a really good looking rifle, man.
and it shoots wonderfully, man. Oh, look at that.
There it is, in your Guy Fokker mask.
That just went bad in my head so many ways. The jokes were just they're nonstop. Yeah, I threw the Guy Fox mask on because it's like, Like that's kind of the epitome of
You
where
got
we
my
are.
joke, right?
Yeah, the Guy Fokker, the
Yeah,
meet the
yeah.
Fokkers. Yeah,
Yeah, you mean the fucker
yeah, I got you.
gay fucker.
Oh, I don't miss anything, man. That's why I said
Alright.
the jokes were coming, but I
Okay,
couldn't let it go.
yeah, I don't know if anybody else caught that, but if you ever watch, Meet the Fockers, his name is Gay his real name is
Gaylord Fokker.
Gaylord Focker, and the guy's like, "His name is Gay Focker?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
So,
Maj
God,
has the urban camo. We tried to get Maj to we tried to get Recoil to put the Bravo Oscar on the cover with Maj on the January issue. So for those of you that don't still read print media, shame on you. Secondly, this was a big deal for us. This right here was a big deal for us. Number one, as Black gun owners, but number two, as people who were doing the work. I actually called up the editor of Recoil, Ian, and said, Ian, we've been friends for a long time, and it's never anything personal. But you've only had like one Black dude on all your issues, and that was Buck Doyle. You know what I mean? He said, really? I never really paid attention to it. And and other people, other Black guys in the community were saying, yeah, they don't put Black people on there, they're racist. No, they're not racist. Sometimes you just don't know, because that's not, if you're not Black, you don't realize that's not what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing, rather. So I called him, and he said, you know what? Who do you want on the cover? And he said, do you want to be on the cover? And I said, yeah, I do, but let's do somebody that is actually out here making a major difference, and has the work, the body of work that's going to give you what you want. And that's what they came up with. And as you see, that's the shirt he wore. He wore his shirt. That's Maj Toure. And that's the first issue of 2021. And it's a great issue. So go out to your local bookstore, grocery store, or whatever.
they also have a, just
The web, Recoil web.
they Recoil web, but you can also get it on a Kindle.
Yep. So go and support. The article is great. It was well written.
Yeah, Recoil is one of the only magazines I haven't written for. Maybe I should do it.
You should, man. Like it's the people at Recoil are great, man. Like Ian's great. Everybody over there is. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, I was looking down into my
Yeah, we can hear you.
nether regions, at my phone. You know, Ian is awesome, man. Ian is an American citizen, a Brit turned American. You know what I mean? One Top Shot. One, I think he was special forces over there in the Queen.
SAS thing.
He was SAS, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So and he's just a well-grounded dude, man. He's a good dude. And he didn't have to do what he did, but he did because he recognized a flaw or an error, and he corrected it. So it was.
Yeah.
I'm holding out for the center fold. There's not enough center to fold what I got, baby. So anyway, so it's he's just a good dude. But sometimes, and that's part of what being an advocate is. I think part of being an advocate is saying, hey, let's change the way this looks. Let's throw this out here because this isn't an accurate representation, which is why we were always hard on the NRA. We were always hard on the NRA because the NRA never, ever, ever wanted to change the imagery. Oh, we've got Corleone Noir. That's all we need. There can only be one. We call it the Highlander effect. There can only be one. And it's like, no, there's millions. There's millions. And we have to reflect that if you want to actually be the most powerful, actively powerful gun lobby out here, or firearms lobby, or Firearms Rights Association. Let me just say that.
I want to say that Maj did shout out GOA in the article. GOA and Maj have worked very closely together.
Absolutely.
And we put them on like a multiple city tour.
And I guess I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you're not a member of GOA, I know John said it earlier. If you're not a member of GOA, make sure that you at least check them out or stay up to date and stay tuned in to their website, because they will always let you know what's going on politically. We have 2 new bills that are being introduced. Everybody was so up in arms about House Bill 127.
Well, GOA wasn't. GOA was saying, "Hey, this
But
is."
no, I know that's what I'm going to say. But I think that was the smokescreen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well,
That was
that's what we kept on saying. We kept on
yeah,
saying, "This is a smoke screen to something. Something's coming down. This isn't it.
yep,
Pay
yep,
attention. Something's
yep.
coming down."
And then we
Uh,
got what, HR 8 and HR 1446.
yeah, which are the real? And we were like, "Dude, they're coming out with something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this bill. This bill's crazy." Sheila Jackson Lee looks like a cowboy, like a 5-year-old dressed up as a cowboy on Halloween. She have no answers. This bill's going nowhere. There's something coming down. We don't know what it is yet, but they are going to introduce something. So pay attention, but don't waste energy on this dumbass bill.
No,
And
no.
and and there was other organizations that were fundraising off of it, which we knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and and that's why I like GOA, and the work that GOA does. And you're talking about a grassroots, uh, boots on the ground, boot to your neck organization. That's what it is. And they hold our elected officials accountable, and I like it, man. And go ahead and support and do what they're asking. Call your local representatives, call whoever, and let them know, we don't want this. This can't work. You can't vote for this. You vote for this, we're not voting for you.
Yes, yeah, and some Republicans crossed the line and they're gonna vote for it in the House. So it's gonna pass the House. We're gonna have to stop it in the Senate.
Right. And that's kind of where it scares me too, though. So
Yeah, we think we can. We think we can defeat it in the Senate, but it's not. It's not a sure thing where we knew HR 127 wasn't gonna even make it to committee.
right. And I know that there's some people on the left, some gun guys and gals on the left too, that are not going to support it. But I don't know if the number.
On the Senate, I don't know. I think they might have every Democrat on board in the Senate.
Do they?
Yeah.
Last I heard, I thought that there was a couple holdouts.
I think there was, but I don't think they're gonna hold out. From what I'm hearing behind the scenes, I don't think they're gonna hold out. But we have enough to kill the filibuster with the. We have enough right now for the filibuster to kill it, but they're gonna be putting pressure on people to not filibuster it.
So
So
you got to make these calls. You got to take action. You have to. Um, I mean, if for those of you that don't know, I'm going to read what it does. We read what the bills are. HR 8 criminalizes private transfers of firearms with limited exception, which is still undefined. Okay, so those exceptions, we have no idea what they mean and no idea what qualifies as that exception. But I do know that if I take a firearm and I let my friend John, if he comes to my house, and if I hand it to him, potentially, if there's some agent of the government watching, that's a criminal act. I can no longer uh, uh, pass down my firearms to my children, without a transfer. That is, you know.
well, for clarity, there is an amendment in there that says you're allowed to give the firearms to your kid through a will without a background check.
Yeah, but that means I have to be dead. You know what I
Well, you can
mean?
also gift it to them. I just want to be clear. I mean,
Yeah,
it's still a bad bill, but
yeah. Like I don't want to be dead for my kid to get it. I want to see the look on his face, like you
yeah,
know what I mean. So,
yeah.
or
But
my daughter's.
I'm just saying there is an exception, but there is like very one of the things that I think is really dangerous is the enhanced background checks
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it expands the Brady waiting period which means you can't, they call it Charleston loophole, from from 3 days to 10 days. Then after 10 days, you have that's when you can petition to transfer done without a background check. We can take another 10 days.
It's just ridiculous. Like people need their guns or their firearms rather when they need them. You know what I mean? And a lot and the sad truth and the sad fact is you can't determine a person's necessity level. Like a person does just because it's a necessity for them in that moment doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they're going to act irresponsibly with it. And doesn't mean that they don't have the right to protect themselves. So the delays on firearm sales, like I love the fact that we don't have to wait here. Like I go in, fill out the paperwork. If I'm approved, I get it right then and there. You know,
Yeah.
I literally have to wait 5 minutes for the computer to process. That's the only waiting period that I have. But all of that can be removed.
Yeah, and for everyone who's wondering, those are the names of the Republicans that have voted for it.
So call them, blow
Yeah.
them up.
Yeah, they deserve to be blown up. And for locking little
There's a
Latino,
lot of Florida in there. A lot of Florida and Texas and gun states in there.
I would say like
Michigan.
I think Amaro Diaz Ballart is actually in your area, so go ahead and blow them up. All right, with that said, we got to get out of here. I got to go eat some dinner and do homework with my kids.
There you go, brother.
There's actually a study that says homework is detrimental to the learning process.
That homework does what?
It's detrimental to the learning process.
That's why I don't give homework.
That's good. That's good.
I do, but it's things that are fun and things that the kids can do just to keep them active and engaged. But we deal with all the curriculum based work in class where I can help them, where I can guide them and make sure that they know what they're doing.
Yep. That's very good because that's exactly what they say is effective. But all right, with that said, we are out of here. My name is John Crump. I am the state director of Gun Owners of America. I'm also an investigative journalist, keeping an eye on the ATF and other agencies. And I was called a soothsayer. There was a discussion on a message board that was talking about me, and they called me a soothsayer. So I was like, oh, that's nice. They call me the soothsayer of the 2A community.
There you go, brother.
Well,
There
yeah,
you-
dude. Yeah, if they only knew what I had in my hard drive, which I think you saw some of the stuff.
You showed, yeah, I did. Like some real bombs over there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, drop them when the time's right?
gotta be strategic. Gotta be strategic when you drop that tactical nuke, and and to make sure you're far enough away that you
Yeah,
fall out. In some big
I could bury some companies if I wanted to.
yeah.
All right, with that said, we are out of here. Aaargo Jay, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on,
Have
brother.
an open invitation. We were gonna have Coda Boy 32 on today, but he had a family emergency, so Argo stepped in, and it was a lot of fun. With that said, we are out of here, and I will see you guys later.